My fall shirt's autumn. I own one. It's my only autumn color. One. Do you know why? Because autumn lasts one day in Arizona. All the needles fall off the cactus, we're done. Hey everybody in Life Team World, welcome back to The Mix. I'm Mark. This week we have a very special episode. You know her from Instagram, from YouTube, from Stupidville conferences, from I don't even know where else because the woman is everywhere. Emily Wilson Husum is gonna be here, but not just Emily. She's going to be joined by her husband, Daniel. They're going to be answering questions, giving some thoughts, dropping some wisdom bombs. Emily is awesome. I've known Emily since she was a teenager, which tells you how old I am. But she and Daniel are a great couple. Love spending time with them. They really know how to live the faith in a raw, honest, but a really vibrant and attractive way. So sit on back, grab yourself something to eat, and let them drop some wisdom bombs on you, and I'll talk to you at the back end.
Hey everyone, and welcome to The Mix. My name is Emily Wilson Husum.
And I am her husband, Daniel. How's it going?
And this is our new baby son, Jedediah. He was fussing a little, so I had to put him in his little sling here, and he's happy close to me. We are so delighted you're here with us tonight. We just wanted to have a little chat with you tonight. We're going to talk about dating and marriage and some other fun things, and we just want you to feel like you're going to pull up a chair, have a drink. I got my drink. You got your drink?
I got a water bottle. Nothing like it.
It's not water. He's one of those people who drinks a lot of water all the time. Can you relate? You got your hydro flask going, just drinking all day. Well hydrated. That's very good.
It is.
Love that. So we got some questions. We had some people submit some questions for this night, and we just wanted to go through those questions and talk about some things and just be here with you. So you ready to answer some questions and have a little fun and chit chat?
Let's do it.
Fabulous. The first question is a question I'm asked a lot. It's, should I date in high school? What do you have to say to that?
You want me to kick it off?
I can kick it off. Go ahead.
Okay. Should I date in high school? Well, from past experience, I did date in high school, but obviously it wasn't super serious at all. So looking back at it, was it really beneficial to, my life in general? I would say no. Did I have a fun time? Was it exciting to do all of that? Sure, of course, yeah. So in general, should I or should I not date in high school? I really think it's up to,
Up to you, of course it
is.
But here's the question I think is really important, is the question of why. And for the gals out there who read my book, Go Bravely, I talk about that question of why. Asking myself, if I'm gonna date in high school, why am I gonna do that? Why do I wanna date in high school? Because my motives are super important in all things. And so if my reasoning for why is like, because everybody else is,
well,
or because I want a guy, to text me good morning and pay attention to me.
I think the main thing is, for me, right, you wanna date in high school, quote unquote, just because you have a crush on a girl and I want to spend time with them, and then I know that they like me and everybody feels comfortable, and then you have your little thing.
Totally.
But really, it's all about. In high school. How old are you in high school?
14 to 18.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the same as that. So you're really at a point where you don't even really know yourself yet, right? Let alone somebody else. So you're kind of just figuring things out as you go. And so, is it really beneficial to throw yourself into a relationship with someone? I would think no. Like looking back at it, again, everybody can make the decision for themselves. But the tricky part of it is because you really don't know yourself yet, and most likely the opposite, person in that relationship is not going to know themselves either. And so you're kind of both figuring it out. And when you both don't really know what you're doing, it's easy to make mistakes. And so that's obviously something you have to be really cautious in, because you yourself may not have fully developed how you want to be in a relationship, what a relationship means to you, what you want to do and don't want to do in a relationship, what is comfortable for you, what the Lord is calling, all those different things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so because you really haven't figured that out yet, you're kind of going into that already with a lot of open doors, so to say, because you don't know which one you have to kind of go through and navigate. And so it's a tricky situation where you can easily get lost and easily get, go down a rabbit hole, so to speak, where you're not easily going to come out of it again. So unless you're already super mature, you're super into your faith, you really know what you want heading, wherever you're headed in life, but you know you have a solid base and you're comfortable with yourself is the first and foremost important thing, I think. If you're comfortable with yourself and you're really, you're self-assured, is that the term? It's like self-confident, yeah, and you just know what you want in life already, and you kind of know what is good and what is not good, and how you want to be treated, how, all those different things. If you have that dialed in and buttoned up, I don't think there's anything wrong, but most likely if you're like myself in high school, you don't have anything even remotely like that.
Yeah, for me, I didn't date in high school, and I don't regret it one bit. I had time to be with my friends, to work on my academics, which was really important, and I've reaped the benefits of that for a really long time. And so my biggest encouragement is to not focus on dating in high school, and to focus on growing as yourself, growing with your friends, doing things that you love. For me, that was the musicals. I was big on musicals in high school, and I loved that, and I spent all my time into that. And I didn't have to worry about a relationship, because relationships take work and they take time and they take investment. And I wanted to invest in other things in high school other than that, because I knew there was time to do that later on in life.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing on this one is as well, exactly like you said, in high school you have so many other things going on academically and sports and whatever else it might be, musicals. And a relationship, it takes a lot of time, both conscious and unconscious time, in the sense that it's very easy to, and my mom would always say it, right? Like she would say, like, how do you have time to focus on all these different things, let alone a girl in the mix, because you have so many things going on. And again, in my experience as well, my academics, I remember, there would be a correlation between, how much time I was spending in school and how much time I was spending with friends. Yeah. And that didn't always go in a nice, linear lineup. So
you just choose where you want to invest your time, your heart, your energy, and your efforts. And for me, I think that should be in high school, and your friends, in your academics, in your extracurriculars, and things like that. Does that mean that dating in high school is bad? No, I'm sure you know someone who married their high school sweetheart. But again, Daniel said, like he said, you just have to, know who you are, where you're going, all those things. And that's really rare for in high school. I didn't know any of those things in high school. And so that's why I'm glad I didn't spend any time dating and waited till there was plenty of time in college and after that for me to date. We dated long distance. Daniel's from the Netherlands and I'm from California. And so we dated long distance a lot of our relationships. So if someone asked, what's your number one tip for long distance dating?
I would say the number one tip is having a good communication. I mean, because it's also essential to that relationship.
Yeah.
Having like good communication, open communication, and actually expressing what you're feeling and not just leaving it up in the air. Because a lot of times when Emily and I would be talking, obviously we would be, nowadays with FaceTime and Skype and all of that, but you're also texting a whole bunch. Just obviously, I'm sure obviously everybody now, like we're some old people or something like that.
Totally.
But especially because you're always texting back and forth, and you obviously you call plenty as well, but there's so much that can be left up in the air when you're texting. And so especially for us, because we would never have the chance, like once every 2.5 months she would fly out to Holland, or I'd fly here to kind of obviously first to be with each other. But when you don't have the chance to actually sit in a room and see someone's facial expression, like when they're sending that text, what do they actually mean? What is the tone of that, that communication? What is the, all those different things that go unsaid. But if you're in the same room, you can see someone's body language and how something gets interpreted or should not be interpreted, etc. And I mean, that with long distance was absolutely key, to really stress on exactly what you think and what you feel and make that known to the other person and not leave it up in the air. Because, I mean, it can blow up into nowhere just because you don't know what the actual intention was or how that was meant, and all those different things.
My best tip, and it's just clear cut as could be, is that if both people are not in it 100% and believe that it could work 100%, it'll never work.
Yeah.
You have to be in 100%.
I was one of those guys that said,
long distance.
Long distance? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Because I always said, even like long distance, that's not a real relationship. Because how are you gonna go and take your girl to the movies? How are you gonna take her to dinner? Like, what do you actually do? You can't just be on the phone talking. Like, how does that work? But obviously with us as well, like it's if you truly know that this is what you want to do and you want to pursue and you want to put your all into that, that's that's when it will work. Obviously, if the Lord orchestrates it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll know whatever in the first month or not, maybe even sooner than that. If the other person's not in it, it's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that would be my best tip. If you know you're not in it 100%, I wouldn't be in that relationship or continue that relationship. Someone said, what advice would you give for someone whose friends don't understand why they want to save sex for marriage? I think it's really important to understand that if you make this choice for your life, there's a lot of people who are not going to understand. There's a lot of people who are just not going to get it. There's going to be a lot of people who make fun of you and call you names, but people are just going to be like, because it's so countercultural in this day and age, people are just so confused. So to accept that fact is really important early on. Just to accept. I accept that people aren't going to get this, and I accept that people are going to call me names and have ideas about this, and that's okay. That's a normal part of making this decision. But when your friends don't understand, I think it's really important, as best you can, if you feel comfortable, is witnessing to that, is looking at your why. Why am I doing this? Again, just like dating, why am I choosing to save sex or marriage? And sharing that with people can be a really powerful witness to tell your friends, I get that this is confusing for you, and I get that not a lot of people make this decision, but this is why I'm doing this. At the same time, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody, and that's really important to remember too, that it's not anybody's business. The fact that you're making that decision is not the world's business, but it's something that people talk about a lot, which I'm sure you know, and you don't owe an explanation to anyone, and that's also really important to remember.
Yeah, I would say the best advice I would give is that the confidence that you have in yourself on that decision and how you portray and bring that across to other people.
Very important.
For me as well, like when I was made that decision and committed to that, it's very easy if you yourself downplay it. It's very difficult for your friends to actually accept it as well. So if you say, yeah, I'm saving sex for marriage, but I'm kind of, like I'm just,
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where it's gonna go. That kind of thing. You're also leaving the door open, and it shows to your friends as well that you're not really committed to it. So it would be difficult for them as well to 100% support you in it because you don't even support yourself in it. And that's what I noticed for myself as well. So when I came to a point that I'm super confident in it, I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. The more confident I got, the more support I got from my friends and stuff like that as well. Because they see, hey, this is something that he's like really all in on, and then it becomes something that people can admire as well. And they say, wow, they're really doing something that's out of the norm. Exactly, and that builds up a respect and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I think
that's really important. And I also tell people that it's important to say, if you're having these conversations and people are giving you a hard time, whatever, to say, this is a really hard decision for me to make, and instead of giving me a hard time about it, I'd appreciate it if you'd support me in it. As your friend, this is the decision that I'm making, so your support would mean a lot to me because it is a hard decision to make. And that kind of like makes people think like, oh, okay. And like it's not a walk in the park, and to have that support, even though it's a countercultural decision, is really important from your friends. Yeah. And if people are just hassling you about it and tearing you down about it all the time,
they're not really your friends. That either, so.
That's plain and simple. Yeah. Step back and be like, are these people really my friends? Because friends support friends.
Yeah.
When they're making positive decisions for themselves. Someone asked, what do you wish someone would have told you when you were 16?
I wish they would have told me I would marry this beautiful girl, get my 2 boys, all that. No, I think that's difficult, right? What I wish they would have told me at 16, I guess. I don't know, like maybe, I think to tell myself, looking back, I'm thinking now, when I was 16 years old, to tell myself, Daniel, it's not about looks, it's not about money, it's not about the things that the world will tell you what it's about. But all you need to do is trust in the Lord, and that will, bring you where you need to go. I think that's, if someone would really told me that, I would, at first glance, would have said, yeah, right, that's like my mom saying that. But, at the end of the day, if I look back at my own self at 16, that would be the advice, just to say, hey, listen, dude, whatever the world's going to offer you, it's not going to be enough, and you'll find out when you're chasing it that it's never going to fulfill you. So why don't you just save yourself a lot of hassle, right? And just get on board now. So that's what I advise you to do as well.
That's good advice. What I would have told myself at 16, there's a lot. But for me in high school, I would have told myself, your report card is not your identity. And I know some of you might need to hear that, is that you put all of your worth, all of your value into your grades. And for me, that was a big thing. I was in a lot of AP classes and I worked really, really, really hard. And I felt like if I got a B, I was, not less of a person, but I really took it as a reflection of who I am and my capabilities, when sometimes you just get B's in life, and that is what it is. To tell myself to do your best, right? To do your best is what I needed to hear, and that sometimes your best is a B, and that's perfectly okay, and you need to accept that, and realize that your grades are not who you are. You are a daughter of God, a child of God first and foremost. And what the Lord wants you to do is be gentle with yourself and work hard. That's what I would have needed to hear at 16. What did you struggle with the most as a teen pursuing the Catholic faith?
What I had struggled with the most was all the quote-unquote rules, right? So the rules that you have to abide by the Catholic faith. Because again, when I grew up, none of my friends went to church. It was only my direct family and relatives that went to church. It was very difficult for me to kind of share any of that with other people, and all of my friends were living a different life. And so I was tasked with this, with my family. And my perception was like a burden of like, man, you have to follow these rules, and this is what it is. You can't go out and, have sex or drink or like do excessive partying.
All
or
these
anything
things
like
that were super normal in your culture.
Yeah, exactly. So abiding by the rules, and even I played a lot of soccer growing up. And all my games were always on Sunday, and so it was always a hassle, getting to church on Saturday, and then because I wanted to go out with my friends on Saturday, and then having to fit it in, or trying to go Sunday morning super early after I'd been out all night on Saturday. And it was always a hassle to try to fit it in, because really, Jesus and God and just the faith in general was literally 1 hour a week, if that. For me, and that was just it.
So you struggled as a teen to see the value of it.
Yeah, I didn't see a value in it. I saw it more of a burden, because what was I getting in return? I didn't feel like I was,
alive
or experiencing God's love or anything like that, because I was too vulnerable, too afraid to even accept anything like that, or to even open myself up to accepting something like that. So there was a lot of struggle that I put on myself, just not being open or not being willing to even accept God's love.
And it was in time where you realized that it's, the rules that we follow are God's laws were made to set us free. And for freedom and for life in abundance.
Yeah.
And that takes time to wrestle with that and see how the Lord has set out the commandments to really set us free.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest struggle was loneliness, right? It just was really lonely to be a Catholic teen, and I know that's something some of you might be experiencing, is that loneliness, feeling like you're the only one. And the Lord, brought me a lot of comfort in that and really made his presence known to me. The fact that I am not alone in this, and there are people who are living their Catholic faith as well. If you feel alone in your faith, well, you're not alone. At least the two of us are sharing it with you, and the people around you are sharing in it with you as well. But that was a great struggle for me in my faith.
Yeah, I'll just tag on really quick on the end of that. So for me, when I was 16, we flew out to a Steubenville with our Life Teen Parish, which again,
some of you might have been to a Steubenville conference.
Exactly, yeah. That was the first time. And for me to even go on that Steubenville conference, the only reason I went is that, I got a free trip to America, basically. They said, hey, you want to go, to the States on a vacation? So I was like,
he was like, sure, I'm going on vacation to America.
Yeah. But that was the first time that I actually saw that other teens my age were actually super cool, super normal, super into their faith, where I had never, ever seen that before.
Yeah.
So that was a big, big eye-opener.
That was really transformative for you.
Story getting here out.
Like that sense of community is key. And that's another one of the questions. Is a good community of Catholic friends important? And what would you say to someone struggling to find friends who have the same values as them?
It's almost impossible. Almost, right? There's obviously people that can do it.
Yeah.
But it's almost impossible you're setting yourself, you're starting behind if you don't have that community around you. It's very difficult, and so that's something that you yourself may not, for me as well, right? I didn't have the community around me. I had my family around me, which was great, but outside of that, there was nothing or nobody I would share anything with.
Right.
I could relate to, or anything
even
like
went to
that.
Mass at all.
Nobody. So literally, no one in my high school, no one in my college, both undergrad and grad school that went to church. Absolutely
He
nobody.
was the only one, literally.
So,
that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, so it's very, very difficult, but having the community and finding good friends and having good people around you is, it's such
really
a big
key.
deal. Yeah.
My biggest analogy is geese flying together. Geese fly together in a V formation, and it's a really cool analogy to people living our faith. They have geese who are going in the same direction, right? They all have the same end goal, and for us, that end goal is heaven. And community is really important because the geese, they flap their wings and they create an uplift, which uplifts the geese behind them and reduces the energy that they have to put into getting to that end goal. It's really cool. Like, look it up. It's a beautiful example of what it means to be in community with people, flapping our wings together, trying to get to heaven together, and how that shared goal and that shared effort is a really beautiful thing. But it was a couple months ago, I was taking a walk with our son Zion, and it was really interesting because there were two geese flying, and they were still in the V formation. One was directly at the angle, and I thought that was such a beautiful analogy for when you don't have a ton of people with you in that community, but maybe there's just one friend that you share your faith with, and that's for that season. It's important for us to let that be enough, right? To count on that person and to walk with that person and to fly toward that same goal with that person. And our friendships come in different seasons, right? Not all friendships are meant to last forever. Some are meant to last for, high school or college or whatever that might be. But to find people, even if it's one person to share your faith with, is really, really important. And I know sometimes it feels impossible, like it did for Daniel, but I think online communities are a really great way to do that. That there's different kind of communities, or even in your youth group, where you can really get to know people and share in your faith. And that requires some vulnerability, which is hard, opening up your heart to people, but that's really, really important. Emily, what is your biggest advice for staying Catholic in college? My biggest advice for staying Catholic in college is to find a daily mass. For me, that was really important. There was a daily mass at 11:40 a.m. every day in the Danforth Chapel at Arizona State University, where I went to college. And having the Eucharist at the center of my life was everything. It was everything. And that was freshman year, right? I didn't do it as much junior and senior year, but freshman year, it was right next to my dorm. So I was able to walk over there, and it was just transformative. And so on your campus, there'll be a Newman Center or whatever that may be. Find out when the daily mass is and go and be with the Lord every single day. It's really, really helpful in remaining Catholic in college, as well as finding Catholic friends. And there's Catholic clubs and different kinds of organizations, Focus and things like that, where you can find Catholic young people who want to share in your faith and walk with you. What is the best thing about marriage? Someone asked.
The best thing, see, for me, that's kind of like
he doesn't like doing favorites.
I don't do favorites or
I'm big on
best,
favorites.
anything like that.
I'm like, what's your favorite pair of shoes you own? What's your favorite meal?
It's
What's
all
your favorite
relative,
restaurant?
right? So it's choose what is the occasion, or what restaurant, what
I'm
are you,
big on
what
favorites.
is the meal that you want to eat.
Yeah.
But the
It's
best
really
thing about
honestly.
marriage, what do I love
You
about
can say
marriage?
some positive,
Well,
whatever positive things.
yeah, so I guess having said vows to someone and knowing that whatever happens in life, Emily has vowed to love me unconditionally, with her whole being. And the same goes for me. And knowing and having that security, I guess, in a sense, is, it's such a strong foundation that, no matter what happens, what life will throw our way, where we're going to be in 20, 30 years from now, or whatever it might be, I know it'll be, with Emily, or one of us is, hopefully in heaven, or whatever it might be, obviously we've lived a long time for these boys, but yeah, that's, I guess, is the if I would have one best thing, I think that's the best. Obviously, there's a ton of like really fun things, you know,
Yeah.
that you get to always spend time together. Obviously, you know, you're hanging out with your best friend and you goof around so much, and you build your own little lingo and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
You have your own little things that only you and her, or you know, either part, and then you guys discuss. Is that whenever you're in a crowd with just a look, she'll know what I'm thinking,
Totally.
or she gives me a thing and I know exactly what she means. So you become like, you know, little, you know, special agent, so to say, that you like can pick up on each other's cues like instantly, and you know, instantly also tell when something's wrong or something's off or whatever it is, and you have someone just looking out for you at all times.
That's a good one. I think the best thing about marriage is that every single day of our lives we are in a covenant with the Lord, right? That we made together on our wedding day in front of our fancy family, like you said, vows. Like we live inside of this covenant, and it's such a holy thing, and it's such a sacred thing, and it's easy to forget that in the day-to-day life, right? When he's going to work and I gotta cook dinner and do all these things. But that we live in this covenant with the Lord, that it's not just us together, it's the Lord who binds us together and who's cheering us on the whole entire way through, is really, really beautiful reality that I think a lot of people forget. I hear so much marriage is just a piece of paper, right? It's just this disposable thing, when it is truly a covenant that we live with God, binding us together and rooting for us every step of the way, is really, really amazing.
Yeah.
And special. And I think our world has really forgotten that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I know that it's just from my own friends. You know, when Emily and I got married, a lot of my friends from the Netherlands flew over, and again, they know me, you know, from a little kid.
Yeah.
Obviously, they know my relationship with Emily and how far we've come with all this long distance and eventually getting married and stuff. And you know, almost all of them afterwards said, "Man, this is unbelievable." That, you know, for me being, I was what, 25 when we
You were
got married?
25 when we got married. I was
You know,
26.
as a young age, that's not even, you know, in today's day and age, that's, you know, relatively young, I would say,
Yeah.
to get married nowadays. But still, like, it also really shows the beauty and love of, you know, of God and the one that we share with each other, that we see the greater purpose of actually getting married and entering into that sacrament.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful witness as well for people. So, again, I love being married. You?
Yes,
Yeah?
I love it too.
Good.
The next question is, what's the best thing about parenthood?
The best thing about parenthood?
Yeah. A lot of people make parenthood out to seem like this scary, awful thing, but we really, really enjoy it and we really love it.
Yeah. Again, there's definitely, you know, there's ups and downs with anything, but
Yeah.
I mean, for me as a guy, right, and it's obviously, you know, you share your side of
Yeah.
it. The first, I would say, you know, 4 to 6 months of a little baby's life, like little Jet over here, all the little man does is like drink, poop, and sleep, you know, and cry, you know, those 4 things. And so there's only so many things that I as a dad can do, and how I bond with him and stuff like that. But whenever, I think with Zion, our oldest boy,
Yeah,
when
our
he hit
oldest
6
boy's about
months,
to turn 2.
when he hit 6 months, he got interactive, and you know, you can play with him, and this might sound like selfish, but you actually get something back in return, you know, because you're like, dude, I'm paying for your bills, I'm feeding you, you know, I'm changing your diapers, I got, you know,
It's a lot of effort.
all this stuff, but it's worth it as well. That little smile he'll give you, that little, you know, the sense of the,
Like when you would do the sheet over his face and play games.
Yeah. So the best part about parenthood, I guess to sum it up for me, is being able to pour love into someone, and really for me as well, seeing God's love through this little man, like through little Zion or through Jet, and just having them smile and unconditionally love you. I mean, these boys, because they don't know better, you know what I mean? Like they just, whatever it is, they'll say, you know, mom and dad, they don't know any better, right? So they know that
all they know is love,
you know, and it's, you know, they're like little saints walking around. I mean, Zion's gotten a little, like at 2 years old, like he's gotten a little.
You know, he'll get upset here and there. He's a chill kid comparatively.
He's a super chill kid, but you can tell him, you know, when he's like,
he gets a little glimmer in his eye.
Exactly.
He gets a little mischievous.
He gets a little boys and really.
But he doesn't have a capability to intentionally hurt you.
No,
right?
no,
Like it's amazing how, like his MO is love.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is love.
That's the default, yeah.
All he wants to do is have fun and love, and that's it. And it's so, like, beautiful to see how pure that is.
Yeah. I don't know if there's people watching this that are parents already, they're like, and they have older kids, and they're like, just wait till they're 16 or 12 or something like that.
People always say, oh, just you wait, and I don't believe in that, because I think every child is different, and there's different parts of parenthood that are hard. But we've been parents now for 2 years, plus the time that I was pregnant, because we were parents then, and it's been really joyful.
Yeah.
My favorite part about parenthood is just being a place, and I wrote about this on Instagram recently, being a place for like me as their mother. I am like home for them, because they were home in my body for the 9 months that I carried them. And like him right now, like this is where he wants to be, right? This is the one place in the world that he wants to be, no offense. He wants to be close to me, and that's a really beautiful thing and a beautiful reflection of Jesus in my life, that the boys want to be close to me all the time, and they have this great desire for that. And it's the same way with Jesus Christ. Like Jesus Christ wants to be close to me, and he wants me to be close to him, and recognizing that analogy in the way that the boys love me and want to be close to me has been really life-changing. Last fun question. What is your favorite weird American custom? Or just weird American custom. Doesn't have to be your favorite. We talked about how you don't like favorites.
I would say the first things that would come to mind is that, I don't know if any of you ever been to Europe or anything like that, in the Netherlands specifically, literally when you go to a restaurant and you get like you order a Coca-Cola, or you order whatever
Coke,
drink, whatever it is.
Whatever, iced tea or whatever.
The normal portion sizes there are literally, you get a glass that's like this big, and and there's no ice in it, and it's
they don't have ice.
And that's where I grew up with. And here, it's in the American.
Ice, but not a lot.
America is a lot of ice. Everything's ice and ice, and then everything. There's like free refills or endless wings, or like
bottomless things.
Bottomless thing. All you can eat breadsticks or whatever it is. Like all these things were in the Netherlands. Like you wanted something extra, it's gonna come on your check. Like you want something here, pay for it. So I guess that's a pretty good.
Free refills.
Free refills.
His brothers came to visit America. They went to the Olive Garden, and his brother got a refill like 8 times. Because for them it's such a novelty. You're like, I didn't have to pay $25 for all these drinks. It was just the $3. It's pretty great.
Yeah, that was fun. That's
a lot of Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's you go.
I was saying that for me, a weird Dutch custom is that when you have a baby, they have these like wafer biscuits, and they put these like strange like black licorice like beans on it and butter, and you have to like eat it, and it's like celebrating the baby.
It
doesn't taste good.
It does taste good.
Yes, exactly.
It tastes good. It's not beans. It's like a sprinkle.
I'm not trying to hate. I'm just saying.
I'm fine. Let me get back at you here. No, what I think is another thing I think I've noticed is and this was maybe a couple of years ago when I went to the movies and with some friends, like some superhero movie, whatever it is. Americans love superheroes, stuff like that. I love them. But like in the end of the movie, people start like chanting like USA, like USA, stuff like that. Where for me, it's like, what in the world is going on?
Dutch people are more reserved.
Yeah, Dutch people way more reserved. You like don't
exclaim.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? So for me, the Netherlands, if there's American tourists or something like that, you would always pick them up because they're always very, very loud. Baggy jeans, wearing white tennis shoes, like that whole thing. You could just
spot from a mile away.
Yeah. But I love the American way of life. I feel very, very blessed to live here.
You've lived here for what, 5 years now?
5 years. I absolutely love it. I love, surfing. I love just being out. But I also love the people in a sense. Here in America, another weird thing actually is if you go to a grocery store, there's like a greeter at the front. Like people will like wave at you or like do a thing, whatever it is. Nothing like that in the Netherlands. But
I went to the Netherlands and I asked the checkout guy how are you? And he looked at me like I had 9 heads. And Daniel's like, oh, you don't talk to people like that.
No, well you can, but they're just not used to it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, what I love is that people in general are a lot more outgoing and friendly and outspoken. So it's you pick up a conversation, people say hi, how's it going?
Yeah,
you have so that's great.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel moved to America so we could get married in 2015, 5 years ago. My biggest encouragement I just want to leave you guys with is you could spend your whole life worrying about what other people think of you. You could spend your whole life doing that and you would be absolutely miserable your whole entire life. The sooner you let go of what other people think in regards to the dating standards that you have, like we talked about, saving sex for marriage, whatever that might be, releasing that and saying the one opinion that matters when it comes to my dating life, my academic choices, all those things, is God's opinion, right? Is me talking with the Lord, walking with the Lord, trusting in the Lord. And when I let go of the fact and realize that everyone will have an opinion and the opinion that matters is the Lord's, there's so much freedom in that. So much freedom and so much joy to say, Lord, what do you think? Because that is what matters.
Yeah, and that's challenging, but
hard to do. But you can pray for that every day. Lord, help me to let go of what other people think and put your opinion at the forefront of everything. What you say and your will at the forefront of everything. All right, you want to end with a prayer?
Sure.
All right, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, we thank you for bringing us together today. We praise you for who you are and what you're doing in our lives. I ask that you lead each and every single person watching this video with love and with peace and with joy. That each of these young people, when it comes to dating, relationships, their vocation later on in their life, that they may always look to you. That they may always listen to your voice, to hear your will, the call that you place on their life, and trust in you in all things. What a joy to be loved by you, Lord. Mother Mary, we ask that you pray with us and for us on this great journey of life as we learn to love your Son and try to love your Son more each and every single day as we pray, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The prayers of a baby. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode and hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. We will talk to you later.
How cute are they? Seriously, like cute couple. Golf, hashtag golf. No, great couple. Thank you to Emily and Daniel so much for spending time with us, for giving thoughts and giving wisdom and giving just raw, honest feedback. That's the kind of stuff we need to have if you're gonna live your faith as a Catholic. You gotta be real about it. You gotta be honest about it. And you have to know yourself, right? St. John Chrysostom said like that your body is like a castle with 5 or 6 different entrances, right? And those entrances, the devil knows. So what you have to do is you have to be on guard. If you're going to live a holy life, you need to be on guard. You need to close off those entry points for the devil, for the evil one. You need to know where you get tempted. You need to know where you fall. You need to know your triggers. You need to know who you are. And if you're going to live the right way in healthy and holy friendships and relationships, it all begins with self-awareness, knowing who you are and knowing who you're not, but knowing whose you are. Because you belong to God. You are a son or a daughter of God. Thank you for spending time with us yet again on this episode of The Mix. Next week, we got something really, really cool. We're going to be heading out to our camp in North Georgia, Camp Covecrest. We have missionaries there and missionaries from our camp over at Hidden Lake. They're going to be coming over, and we're going to give you the Life Teen version of The Floor is Lava. This is one you do not want to miss. We'll check you out next week on The Mix. Thanks for being with us.